Hello, and welcome to the Nightly News at 10. Tonight we come to you live from Bloomington, Indiana. I'm Brent Barrett, and this is Lorraine
Oliver, yes. I'm still stuck here every night at 10 p.m. with Brent, and our first story tonight is everyone's favorite topic, politics. Unless you've been living under a rock for a year, or are my co-host, I'm sure that you're aware that the presidential primary race is still neck and neck between the two candidates in both major parties. Hillary Clinton is still hanging on to a small advantage for the Democratic ballot with 18 total states. Bernie Sanders is not too far behind, having won 16 states, including his home state of Vermont. The Republican race is not as tight, though, as Donald Trump has a comfortable lead with 20 states to his name. Ted Cruz, the other Republican candidate, is struggling to keep the pace with only 9 state wins.
Hey, at least the Zodiac Killer is still in the hunt.
Thanks for the insight, Brent.
Anytime. Make sure to vote, folks, because every vote counts.
And isn't that comforting?
It sure is, Lorraine. Elon Musk's Tesla Motors has released their third iteration of their hotly selling Tesla Model S and have added a ton of upgrades. Adding all these options will set you back $136,500. So basically, unless you're Musk himself, you can't buy the damn thing. The new Model S comes equipped with a feature called Bioweapon Defense Mode, which can apparently filter at least 99.97% of the germs and bullshit that your car can be entered through. The most interesting new feature of the Model S is the autopilot function. While on autopilot, the car can auto-steer, auto-lane change, and even auto-park. Wouldn't it be great if it could auto-pour you a drink, too, Lorraine?
And just what is that supposed to mean, Brent?
Absolutely nothing. What else do you have for us tonight?
Well, with cars being able to drive themselves, does that mean that computers are getting too smart? Let's take a look at what recently happened to Microsoft's artificial intelligence chatbot. In the middle of March, Microsoft released the chatbot onto Twitter under the name Tay. The bot was initially meant to embody the personality of a modern teenager. However, after being on Twitter for only 24 hours, Twitter users engaged in conversations and corrupted the bot into being extremely racist and sexist. In response to one user asking, "Was the Holocaust a lie?" the bot was quoted saying, "It's always the right time for a Holocaust joke." Microsoft initially tried to delete these obscene tweets from the account, but the bot continued to tweet with increasing vulgarity. Microsoft eventually made the account private and began reworking the AI. Hopefully, Tay will come back as a more mature teenager.
They sure threw the First Amendment out the window, am I right?
Well, Brent, would the First Amendment even apply to an AI?
Who knows, Lorraine? Who knows? Now let's head over to our new anchor, Will Williams, with the weather.
Thanks, Brent. Very excited to be here with you both. We're going to take a look at the wacky weather of Indiana. Speaking of Indiana, I've lived in Indiana my entire life, and I'm pretty used to winter and April in Indiana. But what about you guys? Where are you from?
What? No, do your segment.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I'm nervous. Okay, let's look at the radar. As you can see on this map of Indiana, we are getting a nasty storm coming up from the southwest and is expected to dump 2 or 3 inches of rain on us this week. Good thing I lost my raincoat. Should be a wet one out there. So let's bring up the 10-day forecast and see just how bad it's really gonna get. On Monday, we'll be where'd it go? Guys? Where did the screen go?
Cold. What? Oh. Looks like we're moving on to local news. Actor Jonathan Banks of Breaking Bad fame received an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Indiana University. That's it. Not much else to say, really.
Smooth, Brent. Real smooth.
In other news, there is a man who had an eventful evening last week. A local Bloomington man recently caused thousands of dollars of damage to the local Asian market. The man had used LSD and was trying to attack police officers while naked. One officer left the scene with a severe boo-boo on his thumb. All of us here at Studio 5 wish his thumb a speedy recovery.
Oh no, his poor thumb. Poor thumb.
You know, Lorraine, you're really starting to get on my nerves. What I wouldn't do to get away from you right now.
Well, speaking of getting away, as if getting in and out of Bloomington wasn't enough of a pain in the ass, it's about to get worse. Have you ever driven north out of Bloomington, like, ever? Well, you have to go through Martinsville, which is supposed to take you just over 20 minutes. But with recent construction, it seems to be a bit closer to an hour, but only when you need to go home. The public information coordinator for the fiasco was quoted saying, "The options were to close it completely and get it done, or to leave it open and cause an inconvenience. Clearly, the I-69 development opted for an inconvenience."
Makes me sick! I gotta take the in-laws to Chicago next weekend.
Well, do you know what else will make you sick, Brent? Chipotle. Recently, the FDA and other partners have been investigating an outbreak of E. coli that came from food purchased from a Chipotle Mexican grill. After Chipotle announced a one-day shutdown of stores to hold a company-wide safety meeting, Chipotle has been trying to get customers back through their doors, and some would say their graves, by giving away servings of chips and guacamole. Bloomington residents have been flocking to nearby locations with lines wrapping around the block. So, if you're looking for a delicious disease, get there now as supplies are limited.
That's all for the news tonight. And now let's move on to sports with Kyle Klein.
Hey there, we got a lot to cover tonight. The arrests are through the roof, the scores are in, and the Little 500 is over. With Little 5 week now behind us, let's take a look at the weekend recap. The girls' race is on Friday, and it came down to the wire as Phoenix edged out Delta Gamma by 0.5 of a second. Such a close race certainly kept the people on the edge of their seats. The men's race, the day after, continued the rowdy festivities. Delta pulled off a 1-second victory over SAE and claimed the title of the 66th running of the Little 500. The weekend concluded with an enormous amount of arrests and citations, tallying a staggering 179, almost 100 more arrests than other popular college party weekends, but an overall decrease from last year. And now back to you guys.
Thanks for tuning in to this very painful nightly news with me, Brent Barrett, and my lovely co-host, Lorraine.
Lorraine Oliver. Thank you, and good night.